Hi everyone, it's Abby here. I am super excited today to be starting a new series. We are going to be going live hopefully once a week with our members. We're going to be doing what I'm hoping to call a member spotlight. We have so many amazing Craft Industry Alliance members now, 1,700 of them in fact, and I would love to showcase their incredible businesses. So I thought it would be really fun to just hop on to Instagram Live, hopefully once a week for maybe, 10 or 15 minutes, and get a peek inside their studios, a little peek inside of my crazy studio with my crazy puppets and stuffed animals and stuff behind me. And and just kind of talk a little bit about business and a little bit about maybe bestsellers, what's been going on, and just kind of maybe get a little business info. So that's the goal, and I'm hoping to start this as a new little series. And for the first one, I have invited a special guest to join us. She's someone who has been a Craft Industry Alliance member for a long time now. And she is a yarn person. I don't know a ton about yarn, but I'm learning. I can crochet a little bit and knit a little tiny bit, but not much. But I love yarn and I love yarn people. And her name is Heather, and she'll be joining us pretty soon. So she's going to come on and talk a little bit about her business. And in the meantime, if you don't know a lot about Craft Industry Alliance, I'll just give you a little background. So we are an online organization for craft and creative business owners. And when you join, you get access to our incredible community. One of the things that we provide is webinars once a month, and our webinar this month, for the month of September, was totally amazing. We had Kate All from Simple Pin Media, who's awesome, come and join us, and she taught us everything about Pinterest. So she was awesome, and here's Heather joining us. So, hey Heather, how are you?
Hi Abby, how are you?
Great. Thank you so much for being game to be part of our very first member spotlight here at Craft Industry Alliance.
Thank you. I'm so excited that I even asked. It was such a nice invite on Monday when I got it. So
yay! I'm so happy. So I was just talking about all the cool benefits you get when you join Craft Industry Alliance, but I would love to just dive in and hear about you yarns and about your business. So first, tell us, I know you're like a multi-talented maker. Before you got into doing what you do now, you had like a whole bunch of other things you were doing. You're a graphic designer and stuff like that. So tell us kind of like the winding path that brought you to doing you yarns.
So I guess the way it starts would be I grew up in a really crafty house. My dad was a woodworker, and my mom did every craft under the sun. You know, we did paper quilling and we did needlepoint and I don't know, just stained glass, anything you could make. I've probably tried at some point. And even my grandma majored in home ec at Ohio State in the 1920s, so we've always made a lot of things. And but I never really, the craft thing wasn't something I wanted to do. I didn't really think to do it professionally. But I ended up going to school for graphic design. And from there, at that point, my sister had opened a yarn store. And she was like, I really think you'd like knitting. And I'm like, I don't want to get into that. I was more kind of on the fine art and design track, what I thought. But then I went to her store and everything was so colorful. And I just was wandering around and touching all of it. And she's like, I think you're going to want this. And I'm like, all right, fine. So she sat me down and taught me how to knit. And then about a year after that, she was like, what if you open a yarn store too? She had one in Philadelphia, and then I was going to have one in California. And I was like, I don't know about that. It was a cool opportunity, but I was working doing graphic design for IKEA in North America. So I was doing signage for all the stores. There was like a central hub in Philadelphia, and we did all the in-store communication. Like, you know, they needed new bedding signage, and we'd send it out to all 25 stores for the country. But then I had moved to California. I was still working for IKEA, but then that opportunity came up, and it was like, well, I can't really say no to kind of like, here's a store for you to try. So we partnered, and I ran a yarn store for 3 years, and it was kind of a trial by fire in the yarn industry. Like, I did not know how to knit very well, but I knew how to do retail selling. I had done retail all through college. And then after that, I became a good knitter very quickly. And I really fell in love with like the whole industry, and, you know, how the relationships we have between the yarn companies and the yarn stores and even knitters. And like, it's just a small, tight little industry that's generally very like welcoming and friendly. So it's been kind of a crazy ride from there. I closed my store in 2007, which was right around the recession time.
Right.
And I was very thankful that
Good
we kind of, we kind of went that way. And then I went back to freelance graphic design. And then after a couple years of doing branding and labeling and all marketing for other companies, I was like, why am I not doing this for myself? Why don't I have my own product line? And that's where I talked to a mill that I knew from when we had the store. And I said, hey, can you make me some samples? And so a couple months later, I think that was like in January of 2011 that I asked. And then by July, I took a delivery of pallets of yarn, and that's kind of how you started. I started with one yarn. It's called woolly worsted. I went with worsted weight because it's the most popular kind of size of yarn. And I had 7 colors, and it's just, I sold to yarn stores exclusively. Now I sell a hybrid model of sometimes on my site and sometimes to stores. So, you know, things evolve. But yeah, so now I have over 60 SKUs, maybe more, and even more coming this fall. I'm adding a line of heathered yarns and more colors to each weight and stuff. So
was that initial investment that you made with the pallets, the very beginning, was that a significant financial investment? Like,
yes.
Was that a big risk?
It was. It was, yes, because the way my yarn is done, I have to buy by the dye lot. And so, I took 120 bags of each of those colors, and a bag is 10 balls. So
okay.
So
that could have ended up in your garage, like not selling.
It was in my garage. It took up a lot of space in our house, and there still might be some areas of the house with a box floating around still, but I try not to think about that. Right. But no, I did start it from a big chunk of my savings. And
right, that was a risk for sure. And then what has sold well? Like, did you use, I'm sure you did, the experience you had those 3 years working in the yarn shop to sort of hone in on knowing what customers, I mean, it sounds like worsted, you knew that, but was there color palettes or other things that you knew about making yarn that made that first order more successful than it might have been if you just had come in from graphic design and not really known?
right. So color is kind of my, I did my senior thesis on color in college, and it's just something like I could sit down and just think about color combinations for an entire afternoon, and I don't know where the time goes. It's just how I am. But I would say that I geared the projects because of the experience I had. I geared my projects on small, quick, easy to knit patterns. And that is what has carried me through. So as you can see, my yarn is kind of a smaller put up. It's a 50-gram ball instead of like a big 100-gram hank. And so the way I geared a lot of my early projects was, 2 or 3 different colors, like cute stripe combinations, or Fair Isle, where you change colors across the row, and just really gearing in to showing people how to use the colors, but then giving them projects that they didn't have to buy a huge investment, and the project was fun and fast enough that they finished it and they got a sense of accomplishment. So that's still kind of the key to how I sell today. It's how I love to knit. I mean, even this top I'm wearing, it was 4 balls of yarn. It's nothing but knit purl, and you sew it together. It's a free pattern called the Temperature Tee. And I mean, like, I wear it all the time, and I'd like a few more in different colors. Right. So that's kind of my, quick, easy, and satisfying is how I like to.
Right. That was the name of the game. And then, right. Okay. And then you said that you made that shift to, in the beginning, really selling exclusively to local yarn shops, which are so important to support our local shops and our local quilt shops or local yarn shops, especially through this pandemic. My goodness.
Yes.
For sure. But that you've also kind of supplemented with doing direct consumer on your website, it sounds like. So talk a little bit about making that shift and sort of how that thought process unfolded for you.
Yeah. I agree. Having a yarn store and having someone that you can be face to face with, and they can, or knee to knee, and they can show you, like, here's how you do this stitch. And it takes 2 seconds sometimes. Having a store setting where you can touch the yarn and see the colors and put them together, it's an invaluable resource. However, there aren't yarn stores in every town anymore. Right. And also, my yarn wasn't in every yarn store that existed. So I would have a big disconnect, and people were emailing me that would find my brand and be like, well, how can I get it? I don't have a store that carries your yarn. So about 4 years ago, I'd say, I fired on an online store. So I sell both. You can buy my yarn either wholesale for a store, or you can buy, like you said, direct, buy one the ball, whatever it is. But I think as a business owner, by doing that, I have actually learned what consumers want more. So I find that I'm actually able to sell my yarn in stores better now, because I understand what my consumer wants, because I'm talking to them much more regularly. And I've also found that the area where there is a store that carries my yarn, I don't really get I don't get online sales from consumers in that, like in those zip codes, if you want to. So they'll go to the store or they'll email me a question and then they go to the store and they buy the yarn there. And I've had feedback now from a few of my longtime shop owners that say, oh, I saw you were doing that knit along. Somebody came in and bought 10 balls of yarn. And I'm like, okay, what can I get? You want to reorder, you know?
Right. So your online presence isn't cannibalizing their orders, but it's actually teaching you how to better serve them in a lot of ways, is what you're saying.
Right. I think it's really enhancing everyone's, I think it's lifting everyone up. And yeah, I hope it continues that way. And I do often, when someone asks, I still get emails, you know, how do I buy your yarn? And my first goal is always to run them down, like, what area do you live in? Let me help you find a yarn store. And then secondly, you know, if they don't have one, or I direct them to online stores and things like that as well. So while I do sell on my website, I would rather help more people and sell through a store.
Yeah. Plus, I think as an independent maker, it's really important to just diversify so that you have, you know, I mean, we've gone through a pandemic. A lot of stores were closed for a long period of time.
Yes.
If you were solely relying on wholesale orders, you could have frankly gone out of business. I mean, it's
absolutely.
important. And that was a time when everyone was at home. People did really want to make things. It was really soothing and comforting for people to knit and crochet during that period of time. It was important for you to be open and be able to still serve your customers. So it was important to diversify and hedge your bets so that you were still in business, frankly, all these months later. Yeah.
You're 100% correct. I would not be here if I had not already had different streams of revenue.
100%. That's what it's all about as an independent maker, different streams of revenue. So Heather, can you tell us a little bit about like what's coming up for you? What's next? What's interesting and cool for people to check out if they want to go to You Yarns? So yeah, they can go and see what's new.
Yeah. So we are working on, like I said, we carry 4 weights of yarn. We have a fingering weight, a sport. So they get gradually thicker as we go here. A worsted, and then I also have a bulky.
Look at those yummy colors too. Oh my gosh, love
Aren't
them.
they fun?
Yes.
And so I'm adding 6 new colors to the fingering weight yarn for fall. It's currently, I introduced it in a palette of 12 colors. And so now I'm boosting that up to 18 shades. We've had a lot of requests for like a rich black and things like that. And then I'm adding, let's see, I think 5 more colors to my Baba Bulky line. It has 17 shades and I think I'm taking it to 22. And adding a lot of like these kind of darker moody, this is a moody forest green and stuff, because I have a lot of these like bright kind of crayon-y colors. And then I'm most excited is I'm adding a line of heathered yarns to the worsted weight. So we're going to have a nice palette of 12 colors of these worsted yarns. They add like 10% silver and 10% charcoal, and so it'll give the yarns a really cool texture and stuff like that. So I'm excited. They should be here, like, I hope by the 1st of November. So very soon.
Yeah.
All my yarns, if you want to talk business, all my yarns are made in Italy, and as we know, Italy shut down for a long time this year. So normally my fall order arrives like around Labor Day, but because of their shutdown, my yarns aren't getting here for a little extra time. So I'm doing, we have a little space in between, but there's still a lot of yarn here. So I'm taking this opportunity to just focus on what we have coming for fall and just our good projects and new patterns in the yarns and colors we have. Like I'm launching this cute little baby sweater next week.
So adorable.
Isn't it so funny?
Yes.
So that's in our bulky yarn. And then we have, because bulky is perfect for this time of year, obviously. You get quick projects and you can get some good, like, things whipping off the needles and then ready to wear by the time it gets actually cold. So, and then we've got a nice big chunky cable scarf coming that has pockets at the end.
Oh, love it.
Got a little slip pocket you can drop your phone in.
Nice.
Or keep your hands in to keep you cozy.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that's kind of
awesome.
what we're focusing on.
Yeah, super. Thank you so much for showing us around and for talking business with me. This has been amazing. And thank you to everyone who joined us for our first member spotlight chat. And we'll see you around. And Heather, thank you too for being a member of Craft Industry Alliance. I hope your membership's been valuable to you too.
Yes, it has. I love the webinars and courses and the discounts you get at like different retailers, and yeah, I utilize it a lot. I love the group, and I love everything you do. Everything. So
thank you. Awesome. Well, we love having you. So thanks everyone.
Thank you,
right,
Abby.
take care. Bye.